Welcome to Quilts First in November, everyone.
Yes, we are so excited. We've so much to talk to you about. This has been such a busy day. If you have not seen our YouTube video on the secret agent Quiltalong, this is it's a preview. It's a preview. It doesn't start until January. But for people who are wondering, is this for me? Because it's a significant investment
of time
and energy and everything. So we want to make sure that everybody understands what's involved. And I should just add too, you're going to think we've lost our minds with this one.
We're having fun.
It's going to be crazy.
One of the things
fun.
I also want to say, we've got so much fabric to show you. And I apologize in advance if the video occasionally rocks a bit because these boxes are very, very heavy.
Yes.
And they're on the same table with the camera.
Yes.
So we'll try to unload carefully and not pound.
Yeah, but it's a lot of weight.
But as you see,
you have the box opener over there?
Okay. I have the trusty box cutter.
Yes.
And this is one of 13 boxes that were identical to this. Now, there were many other boxes.
Yes.
But I think it's time to open this up
Open
so you
the
can
first
see.
one.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And this is, it's seriously heavy.
Yes. So, just as a background, when we do lines like this, it's a year in the making typically. So we started working on this in November of 2022. We've been planning this for a year. So when it arrives in the garage, it's such a sigh of relief. Then when oh my goodness, your orders today
were insane.
Crazy.
And so we have so much that goes on with this entire process, as Weeks said. And so it's a relief when it finally comes in, and they used a lot of tape.
Yes.
And as quilters, you will appreciate that I'm not using the good scissors.
No, we don't do that. No. Okay, here we go. And you know what Binertex did? Is they put the little secret agent logo. These are the starter bundles.
So these, oh my gosh, this box is so big. So we have, they're all beautifully shrink wrapped. But we've got the secret agent logo, and because they're shrink wrapped, you don't see all, but we've got two values of each color. So we have lights and darks, but they are absolutely beautifully folded and packed. They do such a nice job. There are a lot of these.
Yes. Well,
there are fewer than there were a few hours ago because we're shipping.
Now, the other thing, and this is just like the silliness in me, is I decided, because I was so excited about this line and about Secret Agent and everything, we wanted to figure out, so Bill, if they ordered it and it arrived in their mailbox.
You'd want them to know, right?
Well, how would they know?
Someone had a good idea. If you order a bundle.
Look at this fun. This is the shipping envelope.
So for those of you who bought a bunch of stuff, I'm sorry it won't be. But when you get one bundle fits perfectly.
Yeah, so they will arrive in these crazy,
just
bright,
fun, bright.
Yes, envelopes. So, and this is sort of like while supplies last, special edition shipping.
So when Weeks talks about planning a year out, she's so detailed that we even figured out what size the bundles would be so we could get the right envelope. Everything is folded for that.
Yeah.
But I hope you we're geeking out on this because it is fun for us. But I also
Sue Chrysler, yes, we're glad we don't have to fold 1,000 bundles either.
And I also want to kind of share that because this is something that we do, but you're very much a part of this. And we think all the time when we're planning an event like a Quiltalong of just how many people are involved.
Oh my gosh.
It's not just us. It's the team at Binertex that helps us design. It's the people at the mill who print the fabrics that are used. it is like an amazing shipping department. Weeks. And also an amazing shipping department with
Better Texas. And even just, you know, the mill in Korea, as many of you know, it's practically impossible to get the quantities, small quantities by milling standards, needed printed in the U.S. So, you know, typically our fabrics are printed in Korea, which has really, really high quality for fabric printing. But, you know, all of this,
their color work is outstanding.
Their color work is fantastic. But all of this, you know, takes a year, and it's hundreds and hundreds of people who are touching it before it gets to you.
And all these bundles, the fabric comes from Korea. All the bundles are made, assembled, packaged in the U.S. There's a whole team in Rhode Island working on these.
Right.
And then this is, like, we're so appreciative of everyone that helps it. Even when the liftgate big freight truck comes with a pallet and a pallet jack to deliver, it's never just like, thanks for the stuff. We always tell them, like, that's our fabric.
We've waited a year for these boxes.
It's actually really fun because the delivery drivers who are used to just like unloading crates of toilet paper or whatever at Costco, it's unique for them. Most of them really kind of are glad to be reminded that they're part of something that matters to a lot of you.
So there's 1,300 pounds of this.
Yeah, well,
that we are getting out to you.
Speaking of 1,300 pounds,
yes.
I'm going to try to move this so I can pull the next box.
Okay, the next box, because we're going to look at the individual
and I'm not,
too.
yeah, oh my gosh.
Just slide it over.
Oh no, I'm not going to lift because, I'll try not to knock you over.
Crazy. So those are the fat quarter bundles. We have additional kits that we will be adding to the website soon. We got pretty much, there were orders every 3 to 4 minutes today. So give us a little time to get through all of the orders for the starter bundles.
And then we'll be rolling out. Yeah. But we thought, I've got an even bigger box.
Okay, you want to cut it over there?
So you know what I'm going to do?
You just slide it over.
I'm going to slide myself over just a bit. And I put this on wheels.
Yeah, there you go.
So what I'm going to do, rather than try to lift, this is 70 pounds.
Just cut it from there. That's fine.
So this big box, I hope, has the bolts of fabric in it.
Yeah.
So, and all of you people who also appreciate textiles know to be super careful when cutting anything with fabric, so you don't accidentally cut what's inside.
Oh, Vicky said she picked up her bundle today. Oh, I'm guessing your local quilt shop had it then.
Oh,
that's exciting.
Great.
Oh, great. Glad to hear that.
They got it before we did.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm going to hand these to you. Do you want to take plastic off?
I will. This is the line work in berry. So you can see up close.
Oh, and actually, you have that. I've got its meat right here.
Oh, yeah. So we're doing the lights and darks. These aren't packaged in any specific order, but you can sort of see. Can you get a little closer?
There we go.
Yeah.
So
the light and the dark.
The transparency effect will work really well with these. And I'm going to put this one super close so you can see. We were talking about the printing in Korea. And can you see the quality of that line work?
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
They're considered the best in the world.
Yeah.
For fabric, depending on what you're printing, the Japanese and the Koreans are tops.
So
okay, we've got pairs here.
Okay, hold on. This is the green lantern. It was funny because after
Green Lantern.
I realized it's Green Lantern. Lantern green. I don't want Marvel coming after me. Okay, so this is the lantern print, which I love, and that goes pairs with the.
This is the emerald cobblestone.
Yeah, so pretty together. Okay.
So those starter bundles have a fat quarter each, a little wrinkled from shipping.
Yes,
that
that's
first
fine.
roll.
Oh.
Okay.
So we designed these to go together, and actually, Bill, would you mind pulling, showing, if you've seen already the preview, you'll see that we put these.
This is
Yes, this is what the whole line is going to look like.
the starter bundle. This is the starter bundle laid out.
Yes.
It looks very different when it comes shrink wrapped, obviously. But you can see how we have these two different value ranges of the same or similar hues.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're seeing with these bolts.
Okay, so there's a couple questions.
Okay.
Where do I order my, I guess that's bundle. You can either ask your local quilt shop if they have it, or you can order it through our site.
So, yeah. And it is on modernquiltstudio.com. The Fat Quarter bundle is in the Fat Quarter bundle drop-down list. I still need to make the main page.
Yeah.
I just realized
It just arrived. It all comes so fast. And you can't put it up early because then, you know, people get confused. What will the backing requirement be for the mystery quilt? Well, it's 52 by 52. So depending on how
I think we said you could use anywhere from 2 to 4 yards.
Yeah.
Depending on if you're piecing it and using scraps, if you're trying to have continuous yardage. But as Week said, it's a 52 by 52 inch quilt. So people piece their backs very differently. So it's kind of up to you.
And Barbara's question, do you need more fabric than the starter bundle to make the quilt? You'll need binding and backing, but the starter bundle will cover everything that you need on the front if you make it according to the instructions, which is a 52 by 52 finished quilt. If you decide to make adjustments or change the design in some way, it might not be enough.
But some
based
people,
on,
and some people might add, the starter bundle is all you need. But if you have some fabrics in your stash that you wanted to add in for variety, that could also work. Okay, so here's another.
Okay, this is the daisy.
That's the daisy, and this is its mate, the teal.
Oh, so pretty, so pretty.
Oh, and they feel good.
Oh, they do.
I'm sorry you can't all feel them because they use such good cotton.
Hold on. Yes, we love the gray goods that they use.
Oh. I think my arms are going to be sore tomorrow.
Yeah. So this is the fence also, which is one we've seen before. And that's the orange lanterns.
Yes. So the orange lanterns, most of these are 2 or 3, I think a couple are 4 color prints.
Yeah.
So they have a beautiful subtlety to them.
You see those reds, really handsome.
Wow, the line work is really great in the printing.
If you want to make a queen size, how many bundles should you order? You know, somebody else asked us this earlier today, and we haven't calculated a queen, so we're trying to give you our best guesstimate. Yes. But a queen is going to equal 4 of these 4 versions of the quilt.
So think of it as 4 quadrants.
Right.
I am fairly certain that 3 bundles would work for the queen. However, everyone is going to be making certain choices differently. So if, 4 is more than enough, but it's going to be somewhere between 3 and 4. And again, it has to do with the individual choices that are made. Like 4, absolutely guaranteed.
If you make each one differently, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something Weeks and I haven't spoken about is whether we're going to have 1 yard bundles of this available.
I doubt we'll have time.
Okay.
To do 1 yard bundles.
So I was going to say that would be the other option.
But I don't
we
think
need
we're
to
going
talk
to be able
about
to.
them.
So you don't see the starter bundles. The starter bundles are on our website. Where did that box with the starter bundles go?
You have it in the bag right there.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
So the starter bundle is on our website under Fat Quarter bundles. It's on there.
So it's this. We just added it today. So if you have not refreshed your screen or something, you might not see it.
Oh, Donnie, hate to wish the rest of the year away. Don't do that. We still have work to do.
We need the rest of the year.
So once again, the cobblestone prints are like really wonderful yellow. This is
wait.
gold. Oh,
Pathway is
pathway. These go together also.
Yes. So, because yellow, it's really hard to find a good yellow.
And yellow never looks good on
really,
screen.
Yeah,
but these
it's really
are
buttery.
That one's buttery, and this one's very golden.
Yes, transparency bundle.
Great.
It's also
That's
the secret agent. Yes, it's
Perfect.
both under both transparency and fat quarter bundles. Yes, exactly. We have to have it in a couple of different
I always
places.
laugh. I know a lot of people watch this back on YouTube. So on YouTube, they're not seeing the chat.
Yes.
So sometimes they might think we're just losing our minds.
Well, that's
talking.
why, but that's also why we are. And somebody, some people wonder why we don't just talk, like have all the questions ahead of time. We want to be able to interact with you and be able to hear your questions live. So, okay, here is the pathway, and this is the sky.
And this is the blue medallion print.
Yeah, look how pretty they are together. So
right.
they're stacking up here. I'm going to move some over.
Okay, she's going to move a little
we
bit.
have some more room.
And we're in the plastic here. Now, there are 24 different fabrics in this line. And part of what was so fun as designers was it's not about designing individual fabrics. It's about designing an entire group that works very well together. And that's tricky. So
Here we go. You got that one already? Did you show this already?
Yes,
Okay.
I did. Now I've got another box by my side.
Another box. So for those of you who ordered, just as an FYI, because we're asked this a lot, where the tracking numbers are. And it's really challenging for us as a business because we ship through U.S. Postal Service. Some things have tracking numbers and some things don't have tracking numbers. So if we send tracking numbers, some of the times it's basically based on the weight and the classification, and it just becomes very confusing. But typically, I would say we've been in business for 24 years. We've had like a total of 2 packages lost.
Things get there. And also...
It will get there.
The post office a year ago had so many crises. Shipping has gotten way better. The turnaround times are pretty good now.
But I'll say, as the person who deals with it,
yeah.
I will say that I get probably 3 times a week an email from somebody who ordered on a Friday night and it's Tuesday morning and they're like, where is my package? It should be here by now. And I think that Amazon has its own fleet.
We don't.
There's no Modern Quilt Studio fleet. And I think that delivery times actually are much longer than they used to be.
Oh, they're longer than they used to be.
They're not as bad as they were at the height
Exactly.
of COVID. But for people who say, oh, I live in Detroit and you're shipping from Chicago and it should be here in 2 days.
It still often takes a few.
Yeah, and we can't inquire about it until it's been 14 business days.
Yeah.
So please allow time.
Yeah, we'll get
And also, we don't work 24 hours a day.
No, we'll get things out promptly.
Yeah,
So.
we usually ship within 48 hours, often the same day. But please allow a good week or 10 days. This is why we are launching the fabric now and not having the Quiltalong start until January 1st. So there's lots of time and there isn't a panic about it. But please, we wanted to get everything. We wanted you to be set before the holidays. But just please give it time.
So I know some of you are feeling like, oh, it's 2 more months to wait. But this really lets us get you bundles ahead of time. It lets us prepare things nicely. So thank you for...
It also allows for the possibility that the fabric line sells out. And if it allows plenty of time for reprints to arrive and that kind of thing too, so there isn't any panic about it.
So I'm going to hold this up. This is another really, what I like is if you see it up close, there's a lot of detail, and when you back up, it just reads as a beautiful...
So put them next to each other. They're so pretty next to each other. Look at that. Isn't that lovely?
All right.
Yeah, we do, and we do wash and iron the fabric. We haven't had any running or bleeding issues with our fabrics from Benertex, but it does depend somewhat on the chemistry of your local water and other factors. So
that's why
we always recommend,
even though we've never had
wash.
any bleeding, we
Like the
still...
pointillism, it does kind of look like pointillism, doesn't it?
Oh, and this is a different
Okay, yes.
colorway. That's the
Yeah, this
lavender
is the-
colorway.
And
Or no,
this
that's
is
the magenta. Sorry.
Magenta, yeah.
The other one was lavender.
Yes, Dana, people do all want it tomorrow, and it's hard sometimes when you get the "where's my email" and "where's my fabric."
So this has really nice, delicate line work, and
But we are getting it to you as quickly as we humanly can. So,
okay, I've got a couple more.
Then let's see. I ordered the starter bundle today. I was wondering if it would be too many colors and I should build the quilt around my favorite colors. If you can just wait for the instructions.
So on January
You'll
1st,
be fine.
when the Quiltalong begins, we will, there's a slightly longer period between the first two missions. We will have a mini color class with the first mission that will help you really understand how to select your fabrics. The bundle works beautifully, but if you want to build your own using a different range of hues or a more limited range, there will be ways, but we'll talk you through it.
What we're suggesting you do now is to not buy additional, like we know that the starter bundle will work, but we do not encourage you to buy other fabric for the Quiltalong until you've heard the first mission video on January 1st. And the reason that we're giving that gap is so if you decide that you want to use different fabrics or you want to add fabrics to the starter bundle, that you'll have plenty of time to do that. But we said in the video, the preview video, that it concerns us when we see people sharing in the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics group that they just bought a ton of fabric for the Quiltalong.
But they don't know enough
yet.
But
they don't know enough to know what... It's very specific color work. So. And just trust us when we say you will have time, and we want you to be able to buy wisely.
And we want you to be successful.
Yeah,
always.
Exactly. And you don't have to use our fabrics.
No.
But we wanted you to be able to have a for sure supply, because we've taught transparency quilts before, over the years at guilds and such. And the number one issue is I can't find the colors that will work. So that's why we did this line. So for sure,
there would be colors.
There would be a palette that you'd be successful with.
So here we go again with the lantern print and the daisy print, and you can see how there's kind of a light and a dark.
Yeah.
And part of this, the richness of this line, is when you have the medium and the dark. They aren't all matchy-matchy. There's subtle differences. Yeah. So I think that this line is very, very luminous.
If I were to make, so Barb wants to know, if she were to make the queen later, do you anticipate the fat quarter bundles available after February?
We don't know.
It's really difficult because there are times, I know that we've sold so many fat quarter bundles and the demand for this line has been so strong. It's just really hard to know, and I wouldn't want you to buy more than you need.
Yeah, we're just trying to be straightforward because Benertex is one of the fabric companies that does reprint when there is demand. Not all companies do, but sometimes what happens is there will be demand and then there's a 2-month gap until the fabric, the resupply gets here.
Or it
we
could be
know that they've actually already reprinted additional yardage of the line, but we're never privy to the exact shipping schedule. So we're going to hope that the supply is
And the thing
good,
is that,
but we don't know any
but sometimes
better.
they don't know either.
That's
because
true.
there have been times that we've waited 8 months for white. Just a
Oh,
solid
never
white.
from Benertex we waited once
Yeah.
2 months, but from another company
Yeah.
once, which we switched from because we did wait 8
Yeah.
months for white.
Right.
And Benertex actually with their solids have been fantastic in keeping the supply very good.
But with those like grape and that,
Yeah,
we've had some challenges just getting it. So Patty wants to know if you'll need more fabric that's in the starter bundle. You'll need enough for binding and backing.
But the piece top you
The
can do
piece top,
entirely.
you will be able to do the entire bundle from the starter bundle if
The
you
entire
want.
top, yeah.
But if you want to add additional fabrics to it, you can do that too.
Oh, I'm wearing black and white
Oh.
right now, which is perfect for. I think I want to make a shirt out of
that
this.
one. I know. And this
Oh.
is this gray.
So
the
we
gray
actually
medallion.
have.
Hold on, this is the gray medallion.
Oh, you really have to get up close to see that.
Let's see.
But there are basically 4 shades of gray, ranging from dark charcoal to this medium. Oh, and here's a.
Oh, thank you, Janine, for your kind words about the line. You know, we work so hard on our fabric lines, and we really, you know, it's hard. It was hard to explain to the salespeople that this isn't a basics line. It does some magical things that you can't just do with a basics line.
So here's another. Now I know
I love
grays
that
on
one.
camera, they kind of go back and forth between feeling like cool
Yeah.
grays and warm grays, but this is, I'd say this is truly a neutral.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beautiful.
Kathleen, we did respond that the starter bundle is enough for the top of the quilt, but you will need binding and backing if you want to. But you will have extra, but you need, because of just the transparency technique, you need a lot of colors in small amounts. So that's why we designed the starter bundle.
And Anne has the question of, are all the patterns available in all the colors? The way this works, there are 8 different patterns. Each of the patterns is done in 3 colorways. So there are 24 total fabrics in the line. So
And that's
8,
typical.
It is.
You know, there's usually one print with, you know, and it can be in a line, typically like 3 colorways or something like that. But they don't.
well, actually, can we hold these side by side?
Oh, okay. So this is.
This is, get the wrinkles out. Look how different the colorways are. So I don't know if you can tell on screen, but the light one, the thin lines are a pale gray, whereas the dark
Like a medium
one,
gray.
so it's like a medium gray on a white background, whereas the other is the inverse with a fine white line on a dark charcoal background. So those are, oh my gosh, there you
okay.
go.
All right.
Now there's one last thing.
Okay. Yes.
I haven't even opened this box. So those are, I think,
So
all
will you
the,
hold up that again, please?
yes,
So
that's good.
just
Okay.
to sort of sum up, if you're just joining
Yeah.
us, this is the entire line and this is what's in the fat, a little higher.
Okay.
This is what's in the fat quarter bundle. So you can see how precisely those colors work with each other. It's not matching it so much as it is light and dark values.
It's like a corresponding.
Right, but you can see, can you put it a little bit closer? You can see that we did not
I can't see
repeat, there we go, a little higher. We did not repeat the same pattern in the light and dark because it'll make it much more interesting that way.
So there'll be a lot of, it'll be very dynamic.
Oh,
And
thank you for all the kind words for that. You know, like I said, we worked for so long on these and we've kind of hesitated to do this line. We had a color collection line about 10 years ago that was done in lights and darks. And it sold really, really well, but it's like you can't.
we want to do so much more with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. We didn't have all the time.
So
Look at
this
this.
is the Frame of Mind kit.
Yeah, if you haven't
So,
seen that quilt yet.
This is a quilt that we designed to promote this line. The kits are up on our website now. This is the first time we're seeing them.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And
So this is not This is totally different than the mystery quilt. The mystery quilt will be the secret agent will be much more complex than this, but this is kind of a basic example of a transparency quilt if you have not seen any of our transparency quilts before.
But I actually will use this moment to show you
the other quilts.
So this is just kind of a larger view. I'm trying to make sure I don't have too much glare on this.
Looks good.
So that's the frame of mind quilt. And you can see if I go even closer, the transparency effect, on this, there we go, is that it looks like there is a dark square overlaid on all these colors. And it works by using those different values that you saw. And
it's the black and white is the background,
right?
The
black and white is the background.
So you can see, well, maybe it's a little hard to see. You can see the black and white print. There we go. That is the background that surrounds the color, all the colorful.
And in the coming weeks, we're going to be rolling out additional kits. There are kits and patterns. Some of you may be familiar with our jewel box quilt, which we did back in issue 8 of Modern Quilts Illustrated.
Well, we originally designed it in 2000.
Yeah, we originally designed it for a museum in New York.
Yeah.
And we are going to be updating the pattern and including it in a kit. And this is what it will look like with this line. So that should be really, really beautiful.
We're excited about that.
Another quilt that the pattern is now online, but the entire kit will probably be within a week or two, is called Plaid Party.
Yeah.
So actually, we're in the middle of making this right now. This is the illustration. And it's a really different quilt.
Yeah.
It's a collection of 11 kind of mini transparency quilts that are all unified with the white background. Okay, let me see.
Then there's the classic.
Or the classic.
The classic swatch, which we did about 10 years ago.
And we've done this, we've offered this in solids, but it works really, really well with the transparency collection. So
thank you, Penny Barnes. So you never cease to amaze me with your creativity.
Oh, that's kind.
That's very kind of you.
And I think they're fun. We wish we could say everything's ready right now, but we've got a lot though.
Yes, but I think the most important thing is that we wanted to get this ready for you so you could order it before the holidays. You could have your table set, so to speak, if you're doing the Quiltalong for January, because we really want you to feel, and we've said in the last 2 Quiltalongs that people get excited and then they get panicked about fabric and fabric arriving on time. And so this is the way to make sure before the holiday rush, before all the shipping gets crazy long, that you can get everything you need. So if you're going to use our bundle, and if not, then January 1st, we'll give you the color class, so you'll be able to have the skills to assemble a different palette if that's what you want to do, and that's totally fine with us too.
Exactly. And if you're one of the people who commented that you're antsy for it to all get going, if you want to kind of dabble a bit in transparency with one of these other kits to begin with, or play with a bundle, there is so much you can do in advance.
Absolutely. And I think, one of the things that we have been really, struggling with since this year, I guess, is when we sort of began revisiting Quiltalongs and the mystery quilts. And it has been such a game changer. We have really heard all the things that you have said about it, and I've really taken that to heart and have tried to adapt our way of working around the feedback you've given us. And one of the things that we've realized is that there's a group of people who want the mystery experience. And then, there's a group of people who does not want the mystery experience, but they see the final quilt and they want to make that. And they want to do it in a community, supportive environment. So we originally like thought of the Quiltalongs as discrete events that had a beginning and an end. And excuse me,
there's water right there.
I will drink and you can finish my sentence.
But we've come to realize that they don't really end because people are always learning about them, and it's an ongoing process. So on the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics group, there are going to be people working on 3 different Quiltalongs at the same time. As if you're starting the Secret Agent, there may be people just starting the one we did a year ago. And that's kind of fun. And so we also keep updating the exhibitions that we put together for the Quiltalongs. And I try every maybe 10 days or so to check into the new submissions, and I add those to the exhibitions. We'll be doing that once again with this Quiltalong.
So all of that is to say that what we've figured out is that we want our Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics group to be a supportive place for people to work at any pace that they want, on any Quiltalong that they want, and that we want for people, you know, a lot of times there'll be people who want to start the Quiltalong, but they've got a vacation planned or surgery planned, or, you know, they get COVID or something. And so, you know, we are going to have the mystery part of the event have a beginning and an end. However, what we've done in the last 2 Quiltalongs, which I'm sure we'll do again this time too, is at the end of, after the final layout has been revealed, Bill consolidates all of the installments into a single downloadable pattern. So you don't have to, you know, assemble everything from all 6 installments. It's just one unit. So, but if you want to, if you can't participate now, you can but you want to make the quilt, you can either purchase it now. It's one payment for $35 for the entire experience, all of the videos, the little color mini class, and all of the installments.
All of the fun.
All the support on the social media, on the Facebook group, and the virtual exhibition. That's all covered for one cost. But if you want to follow along, you could, but so later, you can always do that. And if you want to wait until the reveal and then purchase the pattern later,
that's fine. It'll
you
be
can
there.
do that too.
And so we've had a lot of questions of people who are new to transparency and that concept. We say over and over, we want you to be successful. So we've really thought it out. We're going to help you. You don't need any previous knowledge. You'll get what you need. In terms of all of our Quiltalongs, we want them to be available to, you know, the most adventurous beginner out there. That if there is new technique that you're not familiar with, or many people are new to, we'll make sure to have it in our video. We try to explain everything as we go along.
What we said in the preview video is that experience for this Quiltalong is less critical than a desire to follow instructions.
Mm-hmm.
We will have Quiltalongs in the future for people who want to do a ton of improv and they don't want to worry about, you know, matching points, and they want to be able to be kind of free and easy with color. But that is not this event.
Right.
And so if you're a person, it's not a matter of how advanced you are, it's whether you want to try new things. Mm-hmm. There are going to be some crazy twists and turns on this thing. Not in terms of technical, but in terms of like, what?
Right. We want to keep it fun.
So if you are able to follow instructions and you like following instructions, then I think you'll have an easy time with it. And we'll demo everything. But if you don't want to read the instructions or you don't want to adhere to suggestions about color work,
you'll have a different experience.
Yeah, you might not end up with a transparency quilt. You might end up with a different quilt,
that actually
which is fine too.
And it will be a nice quilt. It just may not have all the elements of transparency.
So somebody was asking, Beth Ann was asking to hold up the blue medallion quilt or fabrics to the fabrics behind you. So we do all of our own color work.
Hold them up to the ones.
The fabrics behind you. A lot of our fabrics work together. So
back like this.
So this works really well with. It's a little more green than the sapphire in.
Actually, can you hold this?
one.
Can I?
Yeah.
It looks great with the downtown here.
Oh yeah. So this is. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so pretty.
This is from our Delight collection.
Yes. So a lot of our fabrics do have a mix and match kind of component to them. So transparency will work really well with our previous line and our next line next summer. So you'll have lots of
2 lines from now.
Yeah.
We're always working on current projects and projects a year away.
Yeah, a year to 18 months. Yeah, right now it's 18 months. Okay, so the other thing, somebody was, let's see, right now there are, I just checked earlier, there are 463 people registered for the Secret Agent Quiltalong right now.
And it's 2 months away.
Yeah.
So there will be many more.
The last 2 Quiltalongs have been about 1,200 people who participated during the Quiltalong, and then a whole different cohort who started afterward.
There's still people starting the previous ones every day.
So one of the things that I think that those of you, and there are many names I recognize here from our Facebook group, is that you don't have to be on Facebook to participate in the Quiltalong, but there's a whole different experience that is so fun in the Facebook group.
And we have a couple people.
And no snarkiness.
No.
There's zero. Sometimes
when it happens,
it comes down very quickly. Let's put it that way.
But it's good to note also, because some people might be watching this on YouTube later. We have quite a few people who are only on Facebook for this. They aren't regular Facebook users, but they'll join to participate in this, which is absolutely fine. And I'm looking at all the other comments. Maureen, I'm jealous that you're retiring.
I know.
Perfect timing.
Wow.
But I'm also really glad seeing the comment, Dana, of the textures. I'm glad that you get that even through video, because when we were developing these, we don't want them to be flat, lifeless color. We want each one to have a slightly different texture, depth, richness, so that when you use the entire collection together, it's luminous.
And I will say, all of these are original prints. We design these 2 together. We draw them either in Illustrator or in Procreate, and both of us draw different prints, and we are not recoloring somebody else's work, and we're not having somebody at Benartex design them for us. This is our training and our love to be able to design very specifically, so the fabrics will work together but not duplicate themselves, and have enough contrast for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Something as simple as a little pebble dot, we will do variation after variation to get the right density and the right depth. And that's like...
I love Nancy Zamore's comment. While we were immersed in the Summer Mystery Project, you 2 were also immersed in this new one. Oh, it was we were doing all of the TSOs and all of the strike-offs,
textile strike-offs,
basically the rough drafts, I guess, of the printing. and we were, as we are now.
And fortunately, it's secret agent training that we didn't spill the beans.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it is so interesting because our minds are fully in the current Quiltalong, and yet we have to be developing something. And so this is also a nod to you all, because your enthusiasm and the way that the Quiltalongs take on a life of their own, actually, it's this great circle. It comes back to us as we're designing.
Yeah,
so
it feeds us,
constantly feeding us. It's like you hear about musicians who always want to tour because of the audience feedback and the energy. That's very much how our lines and our quilts are kind of grow. As we design something, you do it, we see that, it gives us energy, it goes back, it comes back.
But there's always a point in these events where we just think like, oh, we can't top this. We can't. How can we possibly, where are we going to find the energy and the inspiration to make it better? And yet I feel like we've just been chewing and chewing and chewing on this secret agent idea, and I feel like it's going to be totally different,
but I also
really fun.
I also want to jump in that we realized early on that we're not trying to like top or do more. We're part of our goal is to find a different structure and have things different. So like the last Quiltalong, last mystery quilt, there were 3 layouts, each in 3 sizes, and this time,
there's one size.
There are different things.
And it's not because we're not going to be putting a lot of work into it.
We're doing other things differently.
Yeah.
So each time the structure changes, and that's where, that's a lot of fun.
That will change your experience too.
Absolutely.
And we've also said that not every Quiltalong is going to be for everybody. No. That we're really comfortable having smaller numbers, because we feel like this is a technique we've been asked to teach so many times, and we feel like it will be more fun to do it as a group than it would be to a class of, a virtual class of 25 with a guild or something. I love Barbara's comment that we can never retire. Yeah, you're right, we can't ever retire. But I also like Lisa's comment that even if you're not if you're not participating in the Quiltalong, it's fun to watch the progress. And that is why we have this really different model than every other Quiltalong, where most people have a dedicated group that is closed and you can't observe what's happening
unless you've paid and you're
part of it. And it requires us, and it requires you as participants to not be posting giving away the pattern or details about the pattern. But at the same time, I think it's, if our big picture here, our big goal is to facilitate community in a positive, non-competitive way.
Yes.
With that non-competitive and all bold. It's basically we really value the creative process, and we value what that means to you and the role it has in your life, and we want you to feel like you have a supportive community to make things. And if that means you can't you don't have the money or the time or whatever, or the energy to participate and make every quilt in a Quiltalong, you can get inspiration by observing others, and it can feed you in your creative process. And maybe you'll feel emboldened to do the next one.
And also, we appreciate that those of you who are the lurkers also chime in and help other people. You share your expertise, your opinions, and so we are keeping that aspect public.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to us.
So Beth Ann wanted to know when the other kits in transparency will be offered. Honestly, it just depends on how fast we get out all the orders.
Yeah.
We've had like hundreds of orders today, and we're getting them out as quickly as we can.
Yeah. The
But,
frame of mind is
already
on the
in.
website right now.
Yeah. But the
And
other ones,
the
that
other
like Jewel
three.
Box and Plaid Party and all of that, we'll get to them as soon as we can, certainly within the next couple of weeks.
Next couple of weeks.
But not tomorrow. Definitely not before Monday.
Not tomorrow.
We just, like, our shipping machine has just been going all day long since the fabric got in.
And also, like with the frame of mind kits, they were put together. The kits were put together by Benartex. We are assembling the other kits ourselves, so that's an additional part.
Yeah. So, I'm really glad that those of you who have wanted to do transparency for a long time, we've gotten many emails about that, and it has been frustrating teaching it to arrive. It's kind of like it's this catch-22. You can't have people they don't know how to prepare for class
because they
haven't had the class, and so that's always been the tricky part. And being able to have these fabrics that you can buy or at least understand the concept of will, I think, make it a lot easier for you to understand the concept, because you're not going to be spending so much energy struggling to find fabrics.
And because it's a mystery quilt, and because everyone will make some unique choices, there will be transparency will appear in different ways in everyone's quilt. And that's, I think it's going to be fantastic to see this gallery.
So Erica Turk says, thanks for allowing others to observe. I think it's really a part of the learning, and part of, we've been doing this for a long time, and I think different people, you reach different people in different ways
at different times,
and I think having people being able to receive and give support and enthusiasm to others is really, it's a really joyful thing. Mm-hmm. And not everybody can make everything, and there are people who have caregiving responsibilities and work responsibilities, or who are recovering from shoulder surgery or chemo or something, and we don't want people to feel that they can't participate if they haven't paid us money. That's just not what we're about.
Nope.
So, so I'm really delighted that so many of you like the fabrics and are interested in Secret Agent. But if you're not interested in Secret Agent, we will have all of those kits ready in the next couple of weeks.
And we'll be doing different things with the transparency fabrics over
Absolutely.
time. And I also want to put a quick plug in that they're beautiful fabrics alone. We designed them to work with transparencies very effectively, but they're a great addition to a stash in general, just because they're lovely colors.
Yeah. So let us know if you have any other questions about the line or the Quiltalong, or what other things that you want us to keep in mind as we design these events, because we were on the road for a good 20 years, and we really felt like we wanted to try a different way of reaching quilters and being able to reach more quilters rather than just ones who were part of a guild that could afford to fly us around. And it was also, I think, it takes a toll on your creative process also to be sitting in airports.
This gives us a lot more time.
Yeah.
We've had much more time to develop ideas by not traveling. And it's worked out wonderfully for us to have all of you everywhere participating.
And we're still doing Zoom. You know, we have two
we have
Zoom
two classes tomorrow.
So, or lectures, I guess, is live Q&As. So we're still, you know, working with guilds and still have a lot of things that we can do remotely. But we're delighted that these events have been fun for you, fun for us. And
So-
we will see you December 1st.
Yeah, well, we'll see you
Right? Before then.
before then for sure.
But let us know if you had, if you have any other questions or concerns, and we'll be happy to tell you whether or not this is the secret agent. Quiltalong is a good fit for you.
Yeah.
But
We look forward to seeing you all
be
there.
prepared because it's gonna be
It's gonna be
crazy fun.
We're having fun.
Crazy fun.
So have a great night. I'm gonna go
Yes.
have one more piece of Halloween candy.
I'm gonna ship some more orders before I go to bed.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for all your
coming.
kind words. We appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.